everybody. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much. Oops, sorry, guys. Thank you guys so much for your support, for all the emails. Thank you for all the well wishes. Thank you. You guys know the big event is coming up this weekend. The Mending Souls Conference 2020 with Real Talk Kim, The Flowers, and many other very renowned and very respectable people that can speak into your life, help you with the soul wound, and of course yours truly, that is one of the workshop speakers for the women on Saturday. Hopefully you'll be able to be there. And so, but today I just wanted to come on and I wanted to talk about, and see, I'm giving it a title. So by the time you guys start watching the video, there's a title to it. And I really wanted to address, when you're thinking like the narcissist, or when you come out thinking like the narcissist, your whole world, you actually talk like the narcissist. You behave like the narcissist. You've got these narcissistic fleas. And so I haven't got a title yet. So like I said, by the time you see the video, there'll be a title up there. And so I wanted to reiterate, some of you come from narcissistic families. And some of you, come from dysfunctional families, and you end up in narcissistic relationships. You have to remember that the narcissist lives in their own bubble. They live in their own fantasy and their own illusion, their own delusional world. They create what they want to be their reality. And what happens is when they attach to you, they pull you into their world. You don't pull them into yours. They create this environment or this world, and they pull you into this delusional world, which they even know is not realistic, but they convince you that it's realistic and get angry if you don't believe that it's real. And so they actually go in and they change your narrative. Anything that you have learned through life, anything that you have learned that was positive, that was good, that caused you to see, dysfunction in people, when people are manipulating you, abusive, they change your narrative. That's why they like to isolate you, to pull you into their bubble. That's why they work so hard at love bombing you, to pull you in and seduce you into their world, into this delusional world. And your narrative and your thought process actually changes. Many people who have left out of the relationship act like a narcissist. And when I say act like a narcissist, it makes it complicated because some of you ask the question, am I the narcissist? Or you have taken upon their behaviors and their thought process and the things that they say and do, and you really mimic the person that you have been with all these years, which is the narcissist. Well, people start pointing out, or the narcissist can point out their own behavior in you. And they start pointing out the things that you do. You talk to people and people start looking at you like, I wonder if you're the narcissist. Some people may be narcissists or have narcissism, NPD, but a lot of you come out, and the way that you survived in most domestic violent relationship, because this is what it is you have taken upon us with the love bombing. And this is, what is it called? It's the trauma bonding, or the Stockholm syndrome, where you have taken upon the behavior of the antagonizer, the abuser, the tormentor, in order to survive. And so you have engrafted yourself in and supported them, and some of you have fallen in love with your tormentor. And so when you come out, you're still either defending them or you're not defending them. You sound very much like them. And a lot of times the way that you get your needs met is manipulation, the dramatics, the crying, the tearing, you're horrible and you're abusing me, or sometimes people that are pretty sorry, you guys. Sometimes people that are normal remind you of the narcissist because you can't get your way. You have become manipulative as well. You want what you want, and you'll overtalk people. You're trying to get what you want. You put aside their feelings because this is what you want. This is what you need, because that's how you have to survive with the narcissist. Is a tit for tat. It was like going head to head with these individuals because you couldn't get your needs met within the relationship. Something as simple as getting groceries, something as simple as having someone to listen to you, to express yourself. Have you noticed that a lot of you over-explain yourselves? When you talk to people, you over-explain yourself to try to prove yourself, over-explain yourself. And a lot of times you connect with coaches or therapists, and all you want to do is tell your story over and over and over again, all the details of the story. Some of you have 30, 40, 50 years of story to tell, and you prefer to tell your story. So really, when you connect with a helper, you have to ask yourself, okay, am I going to keep telling my story over and over and over and over again? Or am I going to get a solution to the problem to change? Some people come in and they tell the story, but they want to know how to change. What must I do to change to get healthy again? And some people much rather Tell the story over and over and over and over again. Think about it. Is it helping you? Is it helping you to keep telling your story? For some people, I don't know if it helps or not, but sometimes as a therapist, we have to step in and we have to change that narrative to make you see different. Sometimes that's a very complex thing to do when it's like being in a cult. You have been bamboozled. You have been brainwashed. You have been trained to think a certain way. So it's very hard to change your thought process because it becomes very scary. And remember, a narcissist doesn't want outside interjection, because outside interjection or outside influences points them out to show how horrible they really are. Now, some of you were born into narcissistic families. So you were actually born into dysfunctional, delusional, illusional bubble of way of living. And a lot of you recognize something is not right. I just don't know what it is. Some of you, like, when I get out of this house, I'm never coming back. And as you get older and older, you begin to see your family for what they are. Oh my gosh, I have a cluster of narcissists in my family, and they're horrible, and you can see the effects on other people, and that is their norm. And you become the problem person. You become the problematic person. You become the person, you no longer want to have anything to do with the family. Oh, so you're better than us now. Oh, so they play. Remember, narcissists play on your emotions. They play on your emotions to get control. They play on your emotions to get you back into the fold. But you have to resist that pull, even sometimes to a point where you have to disconnect yourself with loved ones, the people that are supposed to be family, the people that you have, dated, married to, even sometimes your own children, to get yourself, get a clear mind, to get yourself back together into your right mind. But a lot of times you come out of these relationships and that's what we call narcissistic fleas. You come out with the behavior and the actions of the narcissist. You have to ask yourself, when you go seek help, are you really wanting to change? Some people don't want to change. Some people just want someone to hear the story. Some people want to complain. But if you complain, in which you have the right to tell your story, you do. But when you finish telling your story, what are you going to do next? Because some people, there is no next. I just want to tell the story. And once I tell my story, but you can tell your story because you have been called a liar. Your name has been smeared. People think you're crazy. So you want to tell your story, and you want to tell your story to someone that's going to believe you. You want to tell your story to someone that I know that you're telling the truth. So you just want to tell your story. But after you tell your story, then what? Because there has to be a resolution. There has to be some type of process. And remember that you can get all the tools you want to. It's up to you to use the tools. Are you going to come out of the situation? What are you going to do? It's too hard. I don't want to. Well, it's hard. It's hard to give birth to a child. You're giving birth to a watermelon. It's coming out of a body that is not fit to push out a watermelon. But we have been created to push out this watermelon, right? And it's excruciating pain to get relief of giving birth to a beautiful thing. Your pain can give birth to a beautiful thing to help other people. You've experienced it, so people would be drawn to you to get information on how to heal. How do you heal? How do you come out of this? Is it possible? And some of you guys will become examples, but the healing process is always hard. If you've had a knee injury, if you've had any kind of surgery or broken bones where you had to get a reset, some of you had your jaws reset, it's not a happy-go-lucky, oh, I want to do this type of process. You know that it's already painful. And sometimes the pain of resetting a bone, a pain of resetting something and putting it back on track and putting it back to where it needs to be functional, sometimes that is a very painful process. And the doctor can tell you everything is put back in place. It's going to be excruciating pain. Excuse me. And some of you are thinking like, this pain is worse than the original pain. I much rather have the original pain than this pain of healing. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. And that's where a lot of people go back. I cannot tolerate this type of pain. But that pain is good pain. That's the pain of healing. That's when you need the right people in your court to help guide you through this process. You're talking about like coaches and therapists and mentors. These are your nurses and your doctors to help keep you on that path of rehabilitation. You have to think, when you connect with professionals, you want to tell the story. Why are you wanting to tell the story? You wanting to tell the story, you want someone to hear your story. After you tell your story, then what? Then what are you going to do? Because if you keep telling the story and there's no resolution, you're just telling the story and you're really depressing yourself. You keep telling the story and you keep bringing out, different details and you're coming up with these different details. You're reminiscing. And the more you reminisce, the more you're hurting yourself, because the more you're thinking like, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe I went through what I went. You'd be surprised at what your mind was able to tolerate. Your mind was able to handle without it breaking. Some of you guys have been through so much torment in these relationships. You have watched your children being tormented. You yourself have been tormented. When you escape and you get away, it's almost like, I cannot believe that I did not lose my mind dealing with this individual. And there's nothing wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with telling your story. But once you tell your story, and after you tell your story, you got to come up with a plan of recovery. You got to come up with a plan. What do you want to do with that? Do you want to recover? There are some people that wallow in their pain. Some people feel very comfortable in their pain. I much rather feel sorry for myself. I much rather, woe is me. And like I said, I'm not insensitive. I am a survivor myself, and I understand. You got to tell the story. And sometimes it's almost incomprehensible at what your mind, the torment that your mind went through. Some of you are dealing with post-traumatic stress and complex post-traumatic stress. You can literally hear in your head the conversations. You can literally hear, your screams, the things that were said. You can almost feel, a lot of you can feel the pain. And it's called triggers. You feel the pain and the flashbacks of what you've been through, and it's horrific. And some of you are dealing with depression. Sometimes when things come out of your mouth, the question that what I usually say is stop for a minute. Where did that come from? Who told you? Where did you come from? Well, I'd never be able to, I can tell people, I can see the beauty in people. I can see where they can progress. I can see the goodness in a lot of people. Hey, have you ever thought about doing this? Have you ever thought about writing a book? Have you ever thought about, I couldn't do anything like that? Well, who told you that? Who said that? Well, I've been through so much and nobody's going to want to hear me. Well, who said that? Who told you that? Where did that come from? Why did your narrative change? If at one point in time you were able to do something, why all of a sudden you can't do it now? Some of you have never gotten hugs or kisses from your parents. Some of you have never been told that you were beautiful. Some of you have never been told you're smart, and regardless of anything that you ever do, you are my child and I love you. That unconditional love for a child. If you succeed, if you don't succeed. If you end up in prison, if you don't end up in prison. If you make it, if you become homeless, if you become a stripper or a prostitute, you will always be my child and I love you. Some of you have never heard that. Some of you have never had unconditional love. And so in your mind, your narrative is, I am unlovable. Unless I'm performing. Some of you, it's about, for some of the men, it was about sports. And because you couldn't live up to your father's standards, your narcissistic father's standards in his mind of what you should be able to do, to him, you have no worth because you don't make me look good. I'm a sportsman. I was into sports, and now you don't even know how to play sports. And so to me, you are worthless. To me, I have nothing to do with you. You don't, you're not even worth my time because you couldn't measure up to where they put you in their mind. And their standards are so high that it's just unrealistic for you to meet that standard. Women who had mothers who may have been beautiful at one time, they're living vicariously through you. Something happens or you don't do it, or, you become a model, or you sing or you perform or you're good academically. If you can't meet the standard in their mind of where you should be to them, then you don't deserve the love from them. You don't deserve the attention. But when you're doing something that makes me look good, then I'm going to give you that affection. So you live your life like that. Some of you have been sexually molested. And so your perspective of love is if I give sex, I will get protection. I won't be hurt and I will be protected and I get closeness. And so your mind has been warped into thinking that in order to win love from men or from women, or both, who knows, that I have to give my body. My body is what, if I have to show gratitude, if a man does something nice for me, if a woman does something nice for me, then I am obligated to give them something in return. No, you're not. When someone gifts you with something, you feel obligated, or they try to obligate you in your time and your attention. They try to obligate you, you owe me. You don't owe them anything. That means that the gift came with conditions. The gift came with strings attached to it. If someone gives you a gift, there should be no strings attached to it. And if they attach strings, you cut the strings. Thank you. I appreciate it. But that does not hold me accountable, or that does not hold me obligated to pay you back for giving me a piece of gum, for taking me out to dinner, for giving me a compliment. You know, and a lot of times women are like that, you know, where the man takes you out to eat, you feel like you have to repay them by giving them sex. That's the whole thing. That's how narcissists think too, you know, and men likewise, you know, if this woman, whatever she does or compliments you, whatever, you feel like you have to give up all your money and buy her things. No, you don't. You know, people need to earn your respect, first of all, and you don't have to give away your goodies. You don't have to give away your treasures to anybody to pay them back. If they want your treasures, they're not even worth your time. You remember that. And a lot of you are living, and a lot of you are actually trying to win the affection of your parents. You're still fighting through the people that you date. You're still trying to get the confirmation, the affirmation, or the love. You're trying to prove yourself to your parents. You know, when you have dysfunctional parents, there's nothing you can do. Remember, some of them were narcissists, and there's nothing you can do to ever satisfy a narcissist. There's no amount of fuel that you can give this empty pit, because the more fuel they get from different people, the more the appetite is insatiable. That includes your own parents a lot of times. You know, that no matter what it is you do, it's never enough, and you always feel like you're not enough. I'm not enough in my relationship. I'm not a good enough parent. I'm not a good enough father. I'm not a good enough, you know, this person is doing that. You compare yourself to other people. Why are you comparing yourself to other people? You are unique all by yourself. But a lot of you are living in the shadows and with the echoes of what the narcissist has said. A lot of times when you say things, I don't think I can ever do anything like that. Why not? Wasn't it Fred Sanders? The Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken, wasn't he like in his 70s or 80s when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is still very popular today? You know, you have people that were older in age that came up with creations and inventions and things, you know, who told you couldn't do it? You know, some people go back to school, and they're in their 70s and 80s, and they feel accomplished. Some of them are getting their high school diploma, you know, because they didn't accomplish that, you know. So stop saying what you can't do, because the more you say in your narrative, you know, everything that's negative doesn't always come from you. A lot of times they come in, well, my mom never really said that I was ugly, or my father never said that, but they treated you that way. And actions speak louder than words. They may not have said it, but that is the way that they treated you. And so this is the way that you have lived. I can't do it. And some of you use your body, use your looks in order to impress people, because that's what happened when you were a child. As long as you were little and cute, or as long as you were young and beautiful, and as you got older, you try to win people's affection by your looks. Clothes so tight that we can see what you ate last week. You know, men still trying to act young and trying to act like these young guys, and you know you got arthritis. You can't pop and lock and spin and do acrobats and wear tight pants and look like your head is about to pop. You know, some things are just ridiculous. You know, you see it, but you kind of put the red flags aside. And some of you live like that. You're living off of the echoes of your past. You're living off of the echoes of dysfunctional people. Think about it. The next time you said, I can't do that, where did that come from? Or I'm not as pretty as you are. Who told you that? Because beauty is not in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in your eye. What do you think about yourself? It doesn't matter what other people think, because everybody has their own, you know, their own judgment of what beauty is. Some people think that the more, you know, especially in the African American community, when during slavery and during those times that they were coming up in the South, where they were mixing the children, the lighter skin was more praised than the darker skin was, because the more you could pass in society, the more opportunities you had, the more prettier they thought that you were, and the smarter you may have been, and you can pass into society where they gave up their whole heritage of being African American. You know, skin like this was prized, or the lighter you were, the more whiter you look, the more you pass in society, the more opportunities, and a lot of them would hide in plain sight, and nobody knew that they were actually African American people. And some people, you know, and this is how society is, you know, especially within the African American community. It happens within other cultures as well. Lighter skin was praised. You know, this good hair, you know, and one of the most beautiful things that I ever heard when I was a cosmetologist and I was going through cosmetology school, my instructor actually was a Caucasian woman. And we lived in Mississippi, where you had a lot of Cajun people, a lot of people that looked white but actually were black, the light skin, the straight hair. And what she said was, she says, more often than none, most people assume that hair like this is good hair. like my hair or their hair. She said, that is not good hair. She said, in actuality, the thick, very thick, strong hair is good hair because it doesn't break so often. It's not fragile. It's not, you know, she said that is good hair, that strong, thick hair, you know. And I said, wow, this is coming from a Caucasian woman. And so you see how the perception and the, you know, mindset, where did this come from? So the next time you say that I'm not beautiful, who said that? I'm too dark. Who said that you were too dark? I'm too light. Who said that you're too light? You know, my hair is not right. Who said that, you know, I can't write? Because when I was in school, I thought something was wrong with me too, because school did not interest me. You know, my mind was not stimulated in school because I didn't realize that I needed to know why. You know, my mind was very analytic, but nobody ever cultivated that until I got into college. When I got into college, I became a 3.8, 3.9 grade point average student. And I thought that something was wrong with me. I thought I had something wrong with my learning. You know, maybe something's wrong with me. I just don't understand it. It wasn't that. I just wasn't stimulated. And it wasn't until I was in college where I was stimulated because I was interested in what I was learning. And so who told you that you were stupid? Who told you that you couldn't get a college degree? Who told you that you can't create a business? You know, some people create businesses and it becomes very successful, have no college education, have no education on business, and they learn as they go. Who told you you can't start a business? Who told you that you always have to be poor? Who told you that you have to depend on the state and Social Security? Who told you that you can't? You know how many ideas are in your head? How many gifts are in you that have not been tapped into? Stop telling yourself what you can't do, because the more you say it, the more you believe your own narrative. And that narrative oftentimes doesn't even come from you. It comes from the people around you. And a lot of times when people around you are not going anywhere, they have to pull you in. A narcissist is like that. They pull you into their little dysfunctional circle because they don't have the gifting you have, and they notice the gifting you have. So before you can tap into your own gift, they're already telling you what you can't do, because most times they are jealous of you anyway. They're jealous, and that's why they're with you. They notice some weaknesses they attach to, and a lot of times there's strength in you. A lot of think about it, they gravitate towards you because of the strengths that you have, the things that they admire about you, the things, and then they find out that you're human. You know, you are a very gifted individual, but you're also very human. And so it breaks their, you know, this illusion that they had about you, and they put you on this pedestal to find out that you snore when you sleep, you know, that when you poop, it stinks, you know. And so they create this little, they idolize you. And just as much as they idolize you and love you, they crash you down. They hate you just as, because they find out that you're imperfect and they're imperfect. And they idolize you because they pulled on those things that they found attractive, that they found strong, that they found strength in. So there was a lot of strength in you when they pulled. They just happened to find those little pockets, those holes that you had in you to put their claws into, to pull you into their world. So hopefully this has helped you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you so much. Please share these videos. You never know who you're going to help. If you haven't purchased my book already, you can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble. It's called Unmasking, The Illusion of Perfection. Where is it? So it is, let me pull it out. Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. This is what the cover of the book looks like. It is on Barnes & Noble. It's some other bookstores too, but Barnes & Noble and Amazon, you can get the Kindle ebook, you can get the hard copy, soft copy, but it's Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. Real stories about real people. It is a Christian-based book that provides you with Christian encouragement. If you are not a Christian, not a believer, just take the principles out of it. I promise you, you will find yourself in that book. These are real stories of how people were thinking, how they were groomed, what they were told, how they ended up, you know, how they were groomed and then handed right over to a narcissist, what their children went through, how they escaped, some of the homicidal and suicidal thoughts that they were having, and the encouragement and how they came out, you know. And so these are real story about real people. You know, purchase the book and read it. Some of you guys said read it in one sitting. There is some, you know, when the editor went through and edited the book, there is some typos and there's some grammatical errors. Just overlook that for now until I get a chance to go back and fix it, but you will get the principles out of it. Thank you so much for supporting me. If you have not already, also, my mentor has a YouTube channel, which is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper, and she provides you with insight about narcissist abuse from a spiritual and biblical perspective. She is the presiding prelate of Into His Chambers Global Ministries. And those of you that are traveling to the conference this weekend, starting on Friday, February 14th, The doors open at 5 o'clock in Embassy Suites in Bellevue, the Hilton, and the doors open at 5 o'clock. She will be there. So if you would like to meet her and would like to come and meet me, you know, I know she would be so honored to meet you guys. Please come. My spiritual mother will be there. That's my mama, y'all. You know, that's my leader. That's the general. That's my commanding officer. I serve her, and I hope I serve her well, and she trains me in what I need to do. And so she does bring it to you on a spiritual and biblical perspective, just like the Honorable Bishop R.C. Blakes. You have Dr. Les Carter. You have Little Shaman. You have Angie Atkinson. You have Quinn Holiday from Associate Direct. You have Dr. Romani. I think it's Romani or Romani? Dr. Romani or Ramani. So, but you'll find her on there. There are many people that are very gifted in what they do. Melanie Tonya Evans, she's on there. So there are many gifted people that you can get something out of. Hopefully you guys will make it out there. Please go. I do have it in my community tab where you can purchase tickets on Eventbrite. And it is Oasis of Grace Ministries that is hosting the event. Those of you that know Real Talk Kim and the Flowers, they will be there, and many other gifted people. There is the dating game. There is question and answers. There's meet and greet where you get to meet her as well. And then, of course, I will be your workshop speaker for the women on Saturday afternoon. If you can't get out on Friday, please come on Saturday. There's also a red carpet event, and so please, you know, take the opportunity to come out. It's a beautiful hotel too if you want to stay in the hotel. But once again, I also have a Facebook page, 2 of them. One is my professional Facebook page, Psychological Health Consultants and Services. The other one is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Please like the page. Make sure when you subscribe, you hit the bell and put all, so you know whenever it chimes, whenever I upload new videos and come on live. I'm not sure if I can come on live on Sunday. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to record when I get over to the hotel and talk to you guys before I go down. And Saturday, if I can, I may come on. I may come on live. I may not. It depends on the time after or before the speaking. I know some of you have asked, will I be going live or will I be recording? Remember, this is someone else's event. And so I do not want to, you know, step on anyone's toes, you know, if I'm not allowed, because it is a paid event. And so, of course, I don't want to disrespect or dishonor the host of the event by just recording. That would be inappropriate. And if they allow me to do so, I will. But other than that, I probably won't. But I may come and talk to you guys before I go. You know, maybe I come on live. You know, I don't know. You guys just stay tuned, okay? And thank you guys once again. If you look underneath my YouTube channel, for those of you that have asked about donation, I do have a Cash App and PayPal. Thank you so much for the donation, you guys. I am working on starting some classes so that you guys will have some classes we can work on. You can send me some topic ideas too. You know, if you want to, send me some topic ideas for classes. And I create some classes. I want to create a workbook so you guys can, you know, work on yourselves. You know, so hopefully that will help as well. And also for those of you that are in need of counseling, please take the opportunity to go to betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. You'll get a 10% discount. It is a this is a sponsored service, and I do advertise. At this particular time, I'm not taking clients online under BetterHelp, but you will get a 10% discount. Those of you that have financial difficulties, they do have grants that will assist you in getting a counselor. I've heard some very awesome reviews. A lot of you have said that you've been using it and it's really been helping as these videos have been augmented, you know, into your regime to help you process through what you have been through. But please take the opportunity to get counseling. And these are online counselors. They do Skype, they do face-to-face, they do telephonic calls. And those of you, I thank you so much for each and every one of you that have given me an opportunity to coach you, even if it was a consultation. A lot of you came and did a consultation with me. I'm still offering the discounted rates because it seems to be working pretty good, you know, and so a lot of people don't really want to buy the packages. So if you would like, just email me, let me know. It's Dr. Carmen Bryant at Outlook.com, and it's DrCarmenBryant at Outlook.com, and email me if you're interested in. Some of you guys just want to do one-time consultations, so I'm honored. I get to meet you guys, I get to talk to you guys, and you guys are pretty awesome. You guys are some awesome people, and so don't let anybody else tell you any different. And so thanks again. Once again, I want you guys to go and be great, and I mean that. Go and be great.